All right, stop me if you've heard this one before. A controversial offsides call cost the Colorado Avalanche. So let's talk about that on a new episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Locked On Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, Mr. Zach Pearson. Thank you for tuning in, making this your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. If you want to get in on the conversation, then join our subtext. Link is in the show notes below. Chat with us one-on-one. Get your opinion, everything Avalanche related, and share it on this very podcast. We'll get to the subtext people a little bit later when we talk about this upcoming game. Should we just call this between the Nordiques and the Whalers just to make it fun? Yeah, why not? So
yes,
we'll get predictions and thoughts on that game. But yeah, kind of going to talk about this loss in overtime to the Mammoth. So, I mean, you can put the lipstick on the pig if you want and say like, hey, they still haven't lost in regulation. And, you know, the point streak continues, which is all good. But the game as a whole was one of those just like grinding games, and you feel good about things. You don't feel good about other things. But in the end, you know, it's a road game in which you got a point. So you can't be totally like down on this team because they fought. Like, it was not their best game. But they had moments where you felt like, okay, this is the turning point where they're going to kind of take control, which they've kind of been doing a lot of this season. And then credit to the Mammoth where, you know, they played a heck of a game and they kind of took control. It was a good back and forth game, not pretty, but I give credit for the Avalanche to you know, tie this thing up on a fantastic goal from Martin Necas. So we'll talk about, I'm sure, a few times. Thoughts on this one?
So the first period started off, I felt like the Avs came out hot. They came out firing. It seemed like there was a couple of shots for Utah, and then all of a sudden it was just Avs control. They had pressure. They were constantly keeping the puck in the offensive zone. They were doing everything the way that I expect them to do. And that was like basically the first period. Second period was no control whatsoever. There were some turnovers in the first as well, like the Brent Burns pass that almost deflected off of Wedgwood into his own net. Thank goodness that didn't happen. But like, I mean, there's just a lot of miscues, but they overcame all of those in the first, it felt like, and just kept that pressure on. You get Cale Makar a goal. You're feeling solid. You're feeling confident in Wedgwood. Everything seems to be going in the way where the Avs should be doing really well. Then the thing that we'll cover in the second segment happens, and that seems to shift all of the momentum right into Utah's favor. And I felt like from that moment, once Utah got that overturn, then they end up getting their goal, and then they end up getting another goal. And it's like, okay, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was just the Avs weren't sharp. There was a lot of turnovers, There was bad passes. There was missed receptions of the passes. I think that last goal in regulation that Utah got came off of a pass that just hopped. Was it over Malinsky's stick, I believe? And it's like,
which one? Not the overtime one you're talking about.
No, the last regulation goal that they got before Necas tied it.
It might have been Malinsky. Yeah.
I think it was Malinsky.
Not that it matters, but
but like it's a pass backwards that these guys make 1,000 times, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, this one went right past him, and I don't know if it hopped on him. I was hearing they were saying like that puck's rolling a lot. Connor McGahey was saying that just you couldn't settle down the puck at all last night, and it definitely felt that way. I don't feel like the Avs through the second or third, and definitely not in overtime. And then in overtime, just to like. The bow on the top, right, is Nathan MacKinnon with what even was that turnover there?
Yeah. that was just like so confusing to me. It was almost like he turned it over and was waiting for like a foul call in like the NBA, and like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get back on defense because I'm just gonna come. Not that he was complaining that there was no penalty. I'm not saying that there was. It's just like
No.
the reaction of it was like, oh, I turned the puck over, so something's gonna happen that's gonna prevent the other team from going in the other way, like the other direction.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude, like get back on defense. Like that was such a weird play to me that you don't
And, like,
see Nathan MacKinnon, especially in overtime when you know it's 3-on-3 and odd man Russians happen all the time. You gotta hustle back on D.
yeah.
And it was a fantastic play to end the game from the Mammoth. Great, fantastic play, fantastic goal from them.
I mean, it
But
was.
that whole scenario was just like, what just happened? Like we
Yep.
had possession and now it's over.
It was bad turnover. Mammoth reload. Mammoth get an odd man rush up the ice. Get Gunther, whatever. Just in a good shot. And like you said, good play for the Mammoth. There are
Sure.
two teams, and it's not just, oh, the Avs suck. The Mammoth are playing well.
Yeah.
But that whole sequence was just odd. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that's what I was watching. I was like, did I doze off? Is this a nightmare? Because it's a 1 a.m. finish for the game, since it doesn't start until nobody even knows when, thanks to ESPN.
Oh God, let's not talk about ESPN. Yeah, and it wasn't like it was like he was out there for like a 2-minute shift in overtime. Like that overtime had just started. You just gained
Right.
possession, so
You've
you
lost
weren't that
30
tired.
seconds. Yeah.
I don't know. Like that whole thing was weird, but yeah, I agree. Like the second was just a bad period. Like Connor saying like the puck was bouncing. It seemed like it was. And that's not to say like, oh, if the puck's bouncing around on the Avalanche, it's bouncing around in Utah too. You know what I mean? Like they have to deal with the same thing. But you could tell guys like Necas were fighting the puck all game long. It was almost like, that golf round that you're playing where you're grinding it out and you just don't know where the ball is going to go. But you made an okay shot, not the best shot you wanted to make, and you just grind out a bogey, and you're okay with a bogey.
Golf went.
What's that?
I thought that's just how golf went. That's how I play.
Usually, yeah, for us middle of the road people or terrible golfers. But yeah, it was like that. But he, for his first two periods, where I'm like specifically on Necas, like where he was just fighting it, like that's one of those things that you can kind of feeling good about. Like he settled down and had a really good third, and he just didn't let what was going on in the first and second kind of dictate what would happen in the third. He buckled down he just roofed an incredible shot.
Oh my God,
to tie the game. Like unbelievable shot, which I didn't find out till later that it actually went off the mask.
Right off his ear hole. Yep.
Yeah, fantastic shot. So like again, like you're going these things of like good, bad, ugly. The game really had it all, and I thought it was an evenly matched game. I thought there was because defensively, you saw the Mammoth. They have playmakers over there, right? They have speed. They have some guys that like want to. They'll challenge you going like one-on-one, and Peterka is one of those guys that will do that. And I liked how the Avalanche really like they knocked sticks or pucks away from him on multiple occasions, and I appreciate that. Peterka is one of those guys that I'm coming after you, and the Avs are up for that challenge. So like you saw good things in that, but I don't know. It I think you're right with the call that got overturned. It did seem like things turned around there because that was early in the second, and that would have been a 2-0 lead for the Avs. And then it was just an ugly period after that.
Not even a minute into the second. It was 46 seconds in, and Landeskog gets the disallowed goal, and it blows everything up. So we'll hit that for sure.
Right.
I want to talk about that in a second. But before we move on as well, I did have a note like Marty Necas, I wasn't overly impressed with almost any of his game. And then all of a sudden it's just like, bam, he picks it up and he decides I'm going to score. That shot looked angry. That was like Nathan MacKinnon angry shot with pinpoint accuracy. And so huge props to him there. But I was also a really big fan of the Jack Drury goal as well. I thought Colton just throwing it up to the front of the net, doing exactly what it was and Drury being there to knock it home.
Mhm.
That was another one I wanted to be sure to touch base on because I really liked the way that play went down. That was a get to the front of the net and good things happen is exactly what happened for that one. So I think that was a good moment as well. So as you said, I did not like the game. The Avs did not deserve to win. We're going to talk about the call. That's not the reason the Avs lost. Nobody needs to walk away from this thinking that either one of us are blaming that call for the game being a loss. The Avs didn't necessarily deserve to win, but that call changed the momentum
I was going to say,
completely different
speak for
game
yourself.
after that.
Speak for yourself. Because I'm mad about it. I'm mad about it.
I'm
You
so
know,
mad.
so let's get our first break in here, and then we'll talk about that and some other things going on. It's not the only thing that's frustrating me in this game, but we'll talk about that, and of course the Whalers come into town.
Yep.
So we'll talk about all that coming up next. Let's hear from Rugiet. Let's get real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything, and we've all been there before, heard them all before. It's just stress. I'm tired, or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that is where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers fast-acting doctor-prescribed treatment for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. So visit rugiet.com/lockedonnhl to get 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com/lockedonnhl. Don't forget to use our code LockedOnNHL so they know that we sent you to them. That is Rugiet. Stop making excuses and start making moves. Also brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is, of course, here, and FanDuel has an offer that you don't want to miss because right now new customers can bet just $5 and still get that $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Still feeling good about the Broncos, Mr. Zach?
Mostly, but really consistent curse wheel did pick the Broncos to be cursed this week. So we'll see. I still would put the money on them because I believe in my Broncos.
Sure.
I believe, but
You went there.
man, that curse wheel is a little scary. I'm not gonna lie.
To be on fire, according to what you're telling me. So
Yes.
Well, maybe we can break that curse.
I hope
curse
so.
wheel. That'd be nice. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com right now to download the FanDuel app today and get started with that $5 bet. So offsides controversies, and technically Gabe Landeskog was involved in this play because he's the one that scored the goal. Those two things just go hand in hand. They just seem to always rear their ugly heads.
They really are. What's really crazy about that is here in Colorado, we've got this really awesome airport, DIA, like all sorts of really cool things happen out there. You fly into DIA and you can actually come hang out with myself and my family who have chickens. We actually have chickens in my family at our house. We have a chicken coop.
Right. I mean, do you want to keep going for an entire period? For the rest of it? We have about 20 minutes left, and that's about the length of a period.
We can get the owner. Yeah, we'll get the owner of the chicken coop in here and make it. Oh my gosh.
I felt like they wanted to keep the owner of the Mammoth in the booth with them until they scored a goal. It was like they were just going to ride out that entire period until they scored a goal so they could get the reaction of him on the air, and that's all they cared about.
And it takes away from it's not good play-by-play. That's perfectly fine interviews for other stuff. That's not good during the game play-by-play.
Oh, I don't have a problem with the owner. He seems like a cool guy. He seems like a fun owner to have. Cares about his teams, obviously. But that was it went on a little bit too long.
So bad.
Whatever. So, talking about this overturned goal, when you first see it, and they're like, oh, they're challenging the offsides, and then you see on the other end of the ice, there's still players on the ice, and I have a problem with that. I do too. I get it, and it's like, okay, there's guys on the ice, but I have a when does common sense come into play? When there's a puck on the complete opposite end of the ice, and those guys are clearly exiting the ice. We're still calling that offside. I have a problem with it, but by the letter of the law, it's offsides, but it's also not too many men on the ice.
Which is why it shouldn't be offsides. It has to be both. It can't be one or the other. If they're not in play for the reasons of being too many men on the ice, then they're not in play for being offside. They're literally leaving the play. They have no bearing on the game. They have nothing that they can possibly do whatsoever.
Right.
That on its own should not have made that an offside. And then to top it off with what the league did after that is just absurd.
It is. And so when I saw that, I'm like, okay, like I have a problem with that offsides because of, them exiting the ice. But okay, I guess this is going to get overturned. And then when they start talking about like, well, the Mammoth player is the one that brought the puck, I was like, oh, well, that changes it. And he clearly does that. So I think we're good here. Like it really was not a long like conversation in my own head. It's pretty simple. Like sure, by the rule that they go by, those guys are offsides, but also by the rule that they go by, he brought the puck back into his own zone. And then, like you said, you get the explanation from the league saying, which is we're going to be using this all year long. The actions of Valnichushkin caused him to bring the puck back into the zone, but it's still offsides. I can't wrap my head around like so if you're going to go down that slippery slope of the actions of another player caused another player to do something that he didn't necessarily want to do, then we can start saying, hey, when I accidentally put my stick in between a player's skates, well, his actions of skating caused him to fall over my stick, and that's not tripping. Like totally we can really go down this road of nitpicking every single thing of what actions mean. Yeah. So that's my issue here is if you wanted to say, if you had definitive proof, which if you do not, that Valnichushkin knocked his stick, which caused the puck to go in, then we're not talking about this. He didn't touch the player. He didn't touch the stick. He didn't touch the puck that I could see.
No.
And when you're not touching any of that, what are you doing? You're playing hockey. You're forechecking. You're penalizing the dude for forechecking. Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I think drives me nuts more than anything else about this call is Valnichushkin is playing that about as perfectly as you can possibly play that. He is being aggressive. He's up there. He's trying to put the pressure on the Mammoth, trying to exit the zone so that they can reestablish control and get back into the zone and get on the attack. He does it perfectly. The Mammoth player panics and throws the puck back into his own side. But I'm thinking now like, oh my gosh, it's an empty net and you have to go back and you retrieve it from behind your own net. And then as you're skating forward, the opposing team comes up and forechecks you. And so then you panic and throw it in your own net. Well, that's not a goal now because the other team was forechecking you. Like, I mean, that's not how that works. That's an own goal and you own that. He threw it back into his own zone. It's an onside play. You have to own that. That's a goal for Gabe Landeskog. That should have been his first of the season. You cannot convince me otherwise. There is no part of me that will believe that should not have been called a good goal on the ice. I don't understand how you legitimately are penalized for just being good at what you do. Valnichushkin's forecheck is probably one of the number one things that I feel like have been talked about his game since he's come to Colorado. He's great and aggressive on the forecheck. Yeah. And now all of a sudden he's being penalized for doing what he does best.
I mean, like players hold the puck at that blue line all the time. So if I'm exiting the zone and I'm straddling that blue line and I have the puck in the neutral zone and a guy is starting to skate towards me, I can just move it back into like the defensive zone and therefore there's an offsides that could be called.
Yeah.
That's literally what you are saying. You are literally saying if this guy's coming after me, his actions are causing me to move the puck back into the defensive zone. And if there's players on that side, that's offsides.
Yep.
It's like, I think the explanation is what's baffling to me and was just so wrong. How they're wording this is so wrong. And I've never, and then people are throwing up, the rule book and like, it doesn't say anything about actions in the rule book. Right. I mean, it says stuff about bouncing, if his stick made contact with the Mammoth players. Like, I get all that, but it didn't. So when you say his actions, you're saying like the threat. You're saying his threat of what he could have done to that player caused the Mammoth player to react to that threat, and you're not going to penalize the Mammoth player for his reaction.
Right.
That's stupid.
It's insane.
That's flat out stupid.
It is absolutely, completely and totally bizarre. It reminds me a lot of in the NFL, the first time we heard about he has to complete the process of the catch on the way to the ground. And then for the next 5-6 years, it just kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper and more confusing about what is actually a catch. This terrifies me that it's going to be the next goalie interference. What is the action that causes it? You already can't figure that out. And then this could make goalie interference even more muddled, because what's the action that causes the goalie to move to one way or the other? I mean, there's so many things that by phrasing it that way, I think just become murky. It drives me nuts. I'm still angry about this, and I will be angry about this until we beat the Mammoth.
It's just new phrasing that I've never heard the league thrown out before for overturning a call. And we're going to use it all season long. And you talk about goalie interference, which, a few minutes later, the Mammoth got called for that. And then I just found it hilarious that the crowd is just getting on the refs for. Was it minimal? And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, we don't know what goalie interference is. Like, I kind of feel like we do. Like, I'm not in that camp of like, oh, we have no idea what it is. We do. And that was it. Was that minimal? Like, I think a lot of people are feeling like goalie interference needs to be trucking over like the goalie. No, like if you're in the blue and you make contact, that is on you. And he did. And it doesn't matter if you knock the guy on his butt or just touch his blocker. They're both the same. And that's exactly what they did. Sure. And you can complain about that if you're the Mammoth, saying like, oh, it was minimal, but doesn't matter. Minimal is in a goalie interference. That was, and I'm sure we're going to get Mammoth fans coming into the chat box here. And you're just going to get ignored because, that's just homer. Really, like it's, you can say, oh, we're homers for, not liking that call. But I mean, I think we've kind of made a pretty solid case for breaking that down. I am not the guy to just say like, oh, it went against the Avs, therefore I disagree with it. I am not that guy. That one on the, when we're talking about just seems ridiculous. And I put it up on social media and I always go by this. If that call decided the Stanley Cup, would you be happy about it?
Yeah. Right.
I can almost guarantee you, the majority of people would say no. Right. So go by that metric. If it decided the Stanley Cup, would you be happy? There's no way anybody would be happy that overturning that, deciding a Stanley Cup would be happy.
No, not a chance. And it was everything about it is a bad call. And I'm still frustrated enough about just the offside piece, flashbacks to San Jose 2019, all of that.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, and Bednar said this today, even if those guys going off on a change were not too many men and all the way back down behind the net, that should have still been a legal onside play because the Mammoth player carried it back into the zone of his own accord.
So true.
Sure, he had to make a decision based on where the other team was, but that's how the entire game is played. You don't get to just skate with your head down through the middle of the ice and then get a penalty because you got hit. Nope. Like the other team is out there and playing. You have to make decisions based on them. It doesn't get to change the game just because
and it's a big moment. Like I said, playing. You were up 2-0 at that point. It changes the complexion of the game. Having said that, I'm getting frustrated with this power play. I'm getting frustrated with, and I know they only had one in this game, but like, I think, I was willing to give it a little bit more time. And I still like the look of it. I like how they're, entering zones but it is getting down to the end results frustration. And I don't know. I don't know what else to do. Like you can keep, changing guys, tweaking things here and there with who's on your power play one. But at some point, you got to start putting pucks in the net. And again, I know this was only one that they had in this game, but my frustration is starting to get there. Starting to get there.
Plugging
So,
along at 11. I think 11% is what they're at right now on the power play. It's abysmal. And I agree. Like,
you need a net front presence. You have to.
Yeah. It has to adjust. And I agree. I think it looks better. I think they're doing things better. And we said it a couple of episodes ago. Like, it's not a problem until it's a problem. Well, this makes it a little bit of a problem. Like, you can't keep not scoring. So we'll give them some more opportunities. Hopefully they can continue to improve on that and get some goals in. But I agree. I'm starting to get to the point of I just need to see go on a run, get like 3 for 3.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to see what happens when like the dam breaks. Like, if you can just get like that good game where you are 3 for 4 or 4 for 5 or something crazy like that, is that what kickstarts it? And then if it does, we forget everything that happened these first few weeks. But we haven't got to that point yet, and I'm just waiting to get to that point, and that's where my frustration is coming in. Get to that point. Have a great game where your power play looks awesome, unbeatable, and it helps you win the game.
Yeah.
And if it continues from there on out, hey, problem solved, and away we go. So could that be against Carolina? Let's get our last break in and kind of just talk about that game and some predictions from our subtext people as well. So we'll do that coming up next. We're going to hear from Game Time. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's get real. Getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team, and that's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I'm going to the game this weekend on Sunday, Avs and Devils. Did I buy my tickets through Game Time? Yes, I did, because it's the easiest way to do it. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms do apply. That code again, Locked On NHL, LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go with Game Time. All right. The Hartford Whalers and the Quebec Nordiques face off in Denver, Colorado. That just is weird. But yeah, so it's going to be cool. Two awesome classic uniforms out on the ice for the first time in decades. But outside of that, this is just going to be a great game because these are two of the top teams in the league. And how it was like going like through when we were kind of previewing the game against the Mammoth, and I kind of was bringing up all like the heat maps and stuff like that. I was starting to like go through stats and everything with where they are right now as far as like the Hurricanes. And I'm like, you know what? Forget all that. This is just going to be a good game. Like these are two really good teams at the top of the standings. Yeah, you can throw. I always try to go through, especially with really good teams, try to find like some weakness or where they're just not ranked towards the top of the league. And I'm like, it's kind of unfair to really do that. We're 7-8 games into the season. So screw it. Just enjoy this game. It's going to be a dogfight. I do not expect this to be a blowout on either side. Could we have a shootout? Sure. I think this is everything you want to see. I know it stinks that it's a little bit early in the season, kind of like that Dallas game was. It's just so early. But I think it's just going to be a fun, enjoyable game to watch, uniforms included.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like this one coming up too, because I think with Carolina just losing to Vegas and Colorado in overtime losing to the Mammoth, I feel like both teams are going to come out with a little bit of an extra motivation.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're both going to come out with a little bit of an extra motivation to win in their classic uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, I think just from top to bottom is going to be awesome. Both teams are wicked fast. Both teams have a really solid defense. It's going to be really fun seeing Drury, Necas, and Burns get to play against Carolina as well.
Yeah.
I mean, like everything about this game is just lining up to be an absolute blast. So I agree. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what stats I would want to throw out for this game. I don't know where I'd want to be. Like as far as previewing it, I think the Avs certainly have more than the capability to win.
Oh,
Wedgwood
absolutely.
Wedgwood should be able to backstop them to a solid performance, I'm hoping. But Carolina's also
If
good at
he's
scoring goals, so
if
and
he's going to be the goalie,
it might be Blackwood, yeah.
could be.
I
Who knows? Could be.
so
I know I think they are honoring Burns for his 1500th
yep,
game. He's over that many. He's like what 1504 or something like that now.
yeah,
But they waited purposely, knowing that they were playing Carolina because he played a few seasons with them. So that's kind of like a nice little touch that
yep,
both his team he's currently playing for, obviously, and a former team are going to be there. That's nice. And yeah,
appreciate that.
the Necas part, the Jack Drury part,
Everything
and
just lines up to be fun.
it really does. And we have like some people around subtext. Kay says it's the first game that should be attending this season. So hoping
Nice.
for an energetic 60-minute performance with at least one power play goal. I'll take it. Landy gets his first goal for real this time. And Kay says it's going to be a 4-1 win for the Avs with an empty netter.
Okay. Kay's going opposite of how I'm thinking. I think this is going to be a down to the wire overtime type of situation. So, I mean, blood pressure wise, I really hope that Kay's right because I don't need
know.
this.
I know. Adam says I'm thinking it'll be 4-2 game. Could be either team that wins, but that's my prediction. So he's going 4-2. The winning team gets 4. It's
fair.
What Adam's
I like
saying.
that prediction.
That's all right. Lisa says, I'll take the Avs 5-2. I also predict Rod Brindamore cries about no less than 3 times about a call against the Canes. Sorry, it's my severe dislike for this team, is my severe dislike for this team showing. Just please win. So I think we know who Lisa's one of her most hated teams is.
Yeah,
so
no kidding.
I guess the Canes are for Lisa like my Vegas.
Yeah.
So 5-2, I'd be okay with that.
I would as well.
Katie says Avs over Canes 4-2. Man,
there's a lot.
I mean, hey, Landeskog. She picks Landeskog and Taves. Oh, so Landeskog and Taves. So that'll be first goals of the season for both those guys.
Sweet.
All right, first for this one. We got Madam Battleaxe 3-2. So that's a little bit closer.
That's my idea.
And she says that Necas will have a goal and it will go into overtime, which I think is par for the course for Madam Battleaxe. I think she always picks the overtime variety victory. Pretty sure. Let's see. We got Dan says my last prediction went south fast. So I don't remember what that was, Dan. I apologize. But it says I say Quebec beats Hartford 3-2. Landy gets a goal. Mac and Big Val and Blackwood plays great. So he's saying Mackenzie does get the start. Okay.
I'd be good with that.
All right. Won't deny that. It'll be a good thing if you get in there. And we got Vargar, Landeskog, 2 goals.
All right, Vargar.
5-3 Avs. And we got last one here. If it wants to load up, it's from Zach. And he's mentioning about how Vegas just beat them too. So yeah, it says Vegas just beat them, which was their first loss of the season. So as much as I'd hate to say it, do what Vegas did. Oh, that's good. I want to love and hate that comment at the same time. Well said.
Agreed.
Well said. So what is your score prediction?
I think I'm gonna say 4-3. And I could see it in overtime, or it'll be like a late 4th goal. And I think the Avs will pull it off. And I think it's going to be a Landeskog just like highlight reel because he's going to have the C in the Nordiques. He's going to channel that inner Joe Sakic and just
use that. Use that. Just the energy just from a uniform, right?
Yep.
The crowd's going to be awesome. So use it to your advantage. So, all right, we're going to be back tomorrow after that thing wraps up to talk about it. So make sure you tune into that one. But that's going to be it for this one. So thank you for tuning in and making it your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. He is Mr. Zach Pearson. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you guys tomorrow, where due to the actions of Val Nichushkin, Sidney Crosby is 24 hours closer to being with the Colorado Avalanche. I think that's how we're going to do that from now on.
Perfect.